Randy Mosher, Mastering Homebrew, The Complete Guide to Brewing Delicious Beer, Beer Brewing Bible, Homebrewing Book. Unlock the intriguing world of beer brewing with our summary of Mastering Homebrew, your ultimate guide to brewing delicious beer. Delve into the science and art of beer brewing as you explore various ingredients and styles to craft your perfect brew. This book will introduce you to the essentials of malt, hops, and water, as well as important concepts like gravity, alcohol content, and bitterness. Learn the vital role of yeast in fermentation and get inspired by the endless possibilities of flavors, textures, and ingredients. Get ready to embark on an exciting journey as you learn the basics and eventually experiment to create your own unique and personalized home brews.
The Science and Art of Brewing. Beer is more than just a refreshing beverage, it is a versatile and malleable drink that offers something for everyone. Brewing beer is both a science and an art. While all brewers have their differences, each of them abides by the same basic principles. Brewmasters carefully combine a series of sugars, carbohydrates, and specialized, reactive proteins called enzymes to create a desirable base called wort. Then, they introduce yeasts which ferment the liquid to enrich it with carbonation and alcohol. After grasping the basics, brewers can start experimenting with different processes, ingredients, and styles to make a beer that really stands out. So go ahead, pick up a few simple tools and learn to brew your own personal batch. Even a bad beer can still be fun to drink and share, and you can always try again next time. Decoding the science of beer brewing. Beer is not just about drinking to get high, but its rich history goes back to ancient civilization, where it was celebrated for its nutritious and sanitizing properties. Today, beer brewing has advanced to a level of sophistication, where thousands of unique beer varieties are produced, many by seasoned connoisseurs, showcasing their abilities to describe the brew using industry jargon. To understand beer manufacturing, one doesn't need to know the whole vocabulary of the brewing industry, but it's essential to understand a few basic scientific concepts. When it comes to describing beer, there are two primary categories, measurables and aesthetics. The first approach entails using quantifiable measurements like gravity, alcohol content, and bitterness, commonly used by governments and retailers to classify beers for quality control purposes. Gravity determines the density level of a beer's wort before fermentation, expressed as a ratio to water, while alcohol content is expressed in the percentage of the beer's weight. Bitterness, on the other hand, expressed in BU, measures how acidic a beer is. However, the raw data does not provide the full picture of a beer, and the best way to understand it is to taste it. Beer contains numerous compounds that create flavors from the sweet, sour, salty, and bitter notes to obscure tastes like umami, kokumi, and metallic and mineral tones, leading to its balance and complexity. Connoisseurs use years to identify different flavors, while every beer lover can try taking a deep whiff of the brew to enjoy the aroma and a small sip to appreciate the numerous emerging flavors as you drink. Crafting perfect beer, the three essential components. The process of brewing great beer begins with selecting the perfect ingredients, which are malt, hops, and water. Farmers in the past deliberately chose barley that produced low protein, scant traces of gluten, and kernels that easily threshed to brew beer. The three main ingredients remain the same, and each has a unique role to play. Malt is essentially germinated grain kernels, while hops provide distinct spice and aroma. Water, often overlooked, has a considerable effect on the beer's flavor, and the homebrewer should use filtered or distilled water. Experienced brewers malt grains from scratch, while beginners can use pre-made malt extracts to get started. With hundreds of varieties ranging from fruity to dry and grassy hops, brewers have a wide range of options to choose from when crafting beer. How to brew basic beer. Learn how to brew your first beer with a basic recipe, simple steps, and minimal materials. Follow these instructions to create a tasty and refreshing homemade beer. Are you ready to learn how to brew your own beer? Don't worry, you don't need fancy equipment or complicated recipes. In this summary, we will show you how to make your first beer using basic materials and steps. First, gather 25 liters of filtered water, 2.4 kilograms of dry pale malt extract, 20 grams of noble or Britastic hops, and dry ale yeast. Clean and sterilize a large steel cooking pot, a 25-liter carboy, and some bottles. Pour 11 liters of water into the pot and warm it up. Add the malt extract syrup and stir until it dissolves. This is your wort. Then, add the grains and hops. Steep them for about 30 minutes and an hour, respectively. Siphon the wort into the carboy and add 19 liters of water. Let it cool, and add the yeast. Ferment the mixture for 2 weeks. Finally, siphon the beer into bottles and leave some space at the top. Cap them and wait for a few more weeks to complete fermentation. Congratulations on your first homemade beer. By following these simple steps, you can brew your beer and experiment with different flavors and ingredients. Don't hesitate to try new things and refine your technique. Enjoy your refreshing and tasty beer with friends and family. Essential tools for homebrewing. Homebrewers require specific equipment to begin their hobby. Start with simple brewing tools and upgrade, depending on your needs and scope. The average starting kit includes a stainless steel cooking pot, glass carboy, and vinyl tubing. Upgrades include a better brew pot, specialized brew kettles, larger brew pots, and a wort chiller. Homebrewing is an enriching hobby that requires dedication, patience, and the right equipment. Just like a carpenter needs their tools to build, a gardener needs their tools to maintain a garden, a musician needs their equipment to perform, a homebrewer requires specific tools to get started. Beginner brewers should start small, with essential brewing equipment. A starter kit will provide the necessary equipment to brew a small batch of beer. Kits usually include a stainless steel cooking pot, large glass carboy, and lengths of food-grade vinyl tubing. Better kits may also include an airlock, thermometer, and hydrometer. Upgrades to the basic kit depend on the brewer's needs and scope. A better brew pot, such as one with a built-in aluminum heat shield or thermometer, can help improve brewing quality. Larger brew pots may be necessary for larger batches, which may require a high-capacity burner. A wort chiller, a tool that pumps cool water through the kettle to cool off the wort after boiling, is also recommended when working with larger volumes. Although there are innumerable other upgrades available, such as hop backs, aerators, and ultra-accurate thermometers, they are not required for the average homebrew setup. The key to successful homebrewing is starting with the right tools and upgrading as necessary. Over time, as you discover and develop your brewing techniques, you will collect the right tools for your brewing needs. The art of homebrewing. Discover the importance of yeast and how to cultivate it to create the perfect beer. Homebrewing is an activity that many enthusiasts enjoy, but what some may not realize is that it's not a solitary hobby. You have a bacterial partner in the form of yeast. Yeast is responsible for fermentation, which is the chemical reaction that gives beer its alcohol and carbonation. To become a master brewer, it's essential to learn how to work in harmony with yeast. Yeast is a complex organism that humans have been cultivating for thousands of years to make beer, wine, and bread. The fungus metabolizes sugars and starches, and its byproducts are alcohol and carbon dioxide. However, not all yeast is the same. Different strains have distinct flavor and aroma profiles, so it's essential to choose the right yeast for each recipe. The process of adding yeast to the wort is called pitching, and it's a critical step in making beer. Within hours of being pitched, yeast begins metabolizing the wort's sugars, a stage called the first fermentation, which lasts about a week and gives beer its primary taste. The yeast then enters the second fermentation or conditioning phase, where it consumes other chemicals, refining the beer's flavor. Yeast is a living organism, so it's crucial to ferment beer under stable temperatures because changes in temperature can affect the final outcome. Ales require temperatures above 13 degrees Celsius, while lagers require 4 degrees Celsius. Perfecting the yeast is all about trial and error, finding the right strain for your homebrew environment to create the unique flavor profile you desire. In conclusion, homebrewing is not only a fun hobby but also a craft that requires attention to detail, especially when it comes to understanding the role of yeast. By cultivating happy, healthy yeast and finding the right strain for each recipe, you'll be well on your way to mastering the art of brewing beer. Creating your signature beer. Discover how to design and develop your unique homebrew by experimenting with flavors and techniques. Crafting your own beer can be a daunting task, but by starting with a clear concept and understanding the ingredients, you can create your signature suds. Begin with tried and tested recipes and gradually add your own twists and spices. Learn which ingredients complement each other to achieve different flavor profiles. Experiment with a variety of spices, herbs, and additives to create notes of coffee, chocolate, or pumpkin spice. Keep track of every variable and measurement until you find that perfect recipe to wow your friends and family. Discovering unique beers. The book explains that beer is an art form and offers a guide to different beer styles and when to enjoy them. It emphasizes that there is no superior style and encourages readers to explore all the options available. When walking into a bar, the sight of dozens of taps can be overwhelming. However, appreciating beer as an art form requires knowledge of the history and tradition of beer. The recent explosion of craft breweries has given the world plenty of variety, and there are unique beers just waiting to be discovered and enjoyed. Connoisseurs classify beer into different styles based on characteristics such as how it's brewed, where its ingredients come from, and which traditions it tries to emulate. While everyone has their personal favorite, no style is inherently superior to any other. Each style aims for completely different qualities and is meant to be enjoyed in diverse contexts. For instance, a British brown ale might seem weak and watery, but it's perfect for lovers of classic British beverages. Belgian Abbey and Trappist beers are known for their unique flavor profiles and unusually high alcohol content. A typical Belgian triple offers a complex taste rife with touches of fruit, raisin, caramel, and spice, sometimes coming in double-digit alcohol percentages, making it a perfect beer to savor slowly and in moderation. With the vast amount of beer styles out there, one can easily get lost in the beer world. Still, exploring all the options can lead to the discovery of unique and interesting brews, enabling inspiration for custom homebrews. Therefore, try everything, one might never know which beer will become their new favorite.
Our summary of mastering homebrew has provided you with the key highlights and takeaways to equip you in your beer brewing journey. We've discussed the importance of understanding the science and art behind the brewing process, selecting the perfect ingredients, and experimenting with various techniques and flavors to create your own unique brews. It's now time to apply the knowledge you've gained in this brewing adventure. Embrace the learning process, be open to honing your craft, and indulge in the pleasure of sharing your delectable creations with family and friends. Cheers to your brewing success!